All right, hello everyone. How you doing? We are 2 minutes away from State of the Game 149. I've got two other guests.
Hello, I'm Trick Dempsey, testing my microphone.
All right, and who else?
Is it 149? That means next one is like 150?
Yes.
Oh my god!
Good counting, Yannick.
Oh my god, yeah, math. As
You're
far as my brain can go. I can just do like increments by one.
Really good at it.
Yes.
We're getting a lot of Trick's fabulous head with this light. I'm just going to turn it down.
Thanks, I was like, I am a shiny-headed individual.
Yes.
There you go. All right, we'll see you in a minute and a half. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to State of the Game number 149. It is February.
Yes.
It is
Great
February,
question.
February 26th. I don't know why I keep forgetting the
February-
date. I go blank every time I have to look at the
It's
date.
literally on a screen in front of us.
I know, but I was like, is February the second month?
It's
I'm
all
not
a
sure
blur.
anymore.
It's all a blur at this point. I don't know.
Exactly.
Well, Emily, too, the date's all out of order, I say, is the American.
No, that's the correct order. 2/26/2020. Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming by the stream today. We're going to be talking about a bunch of cool stuff. We mentioned last time, seasons is kind of the flavor of today.
Yep.
So I'm excited about that. We'll touch on some other things, but Trick's already getting excited. You all right?
Yes, I'm very excited.
Trick has been getting ready for this.
It's true.
For
But
weeks.
no, I'm very, very
We're
excited
about
this
to
one.
unleash the trick, so
I think this one might go long again, but we'll
Yeah.
try and not make it 2.5 hours because we've got a lot to get through, especially with Warlords of New York coming out next week.
Yes.
3rd of
Yes.
March is next week.
It's incredible. Just thinking it's
Ooh.
next week.
Yeah?
I don't know. It's just it went fast.
How do you feel
Went
about
very
it?
Fast.
I'm really stressed. Like, what's wild is like every time I start up the game, because I deal with seasons, it has a countdown clock to the actual launch, which is a wild thing to have running for months now.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, the weeks have dropped into a single digit. Hell, look at it.
Yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of hype online, and I feel it too. It's really cool.
I'm just like genuinely excited as a player. I've been playing the game a lot recently, and like the live game, and also Worlds of New York in internal ways. But it's not the same, and I don't want to spoil too much for myself. So I'm trying to keep a few surprises and not experience everything. But I'm just excited to just get my hands on it and start playing.
Yeah, I've been. I mentioned on Twitter the other day that I was capturing a bunch of stuff for a new player tutorial.
Oh, yeah.
But I was, doing it obviously on the current build, and I'm like, this is actually really good. It's
Yeah.
really good.
Yes.
You guys should be super proud. Anyway, we could gush about that stuff all day, but today we're going to start things off like we do every time with some priority alerts, so we can, get on to the next stuff. So let's hit it up with some priority alerts. Ooh, yeah. All right. Well, no one saw me do this. Ooh, I was flexing over that. All right. Maintenance was performed yesterday, and we changed the level 30 character boost to only grant materials, caches, and credits once per account. We know there's been some issues with that. The intention is, this care package is to give new and returning players a small one-time boost.
Yep.
And if people have gone over the cap, that's going to be removed when the update comes
Yeah,
out
we're
next
going to
week.
bring it back up to the cap.
And it only applies to materials. Granted, you can still further boost agents to level 30 if you pre-order the game. You just do not get materials, credits, and caches every time. What else can we...
Yeah, I think
say about
the
that?
thing that just needs to be, just to spend a second on that, because I've seen a few people are being confused about it. So you still can boost your level 30 characters. You can do it, as many times as you want. But the thing is, you will only get the extra materials once. But those materials are shared across the entire account. So if you create a new character, you're still going to have access to all the materials of your account anyway. So it's not as if you're going to boost a character and have 0 materials.
Sure.
It's just you're not going to get new ones on top of the ones you already have. But you can still keep boosting new characters as much as you want.
Yeah. You forget to turn on the light again? Actually, we did.
It's actually
George, can you turn on
it's
this
quite
one?
dark.
Yeah, I was like, I do feel
All the
there we
light
go.
is just on trick.
Boom.
That's what.
Solar power.
I'm not sure it's a good idea to put so much light on our faces. But
No, we'll keep it nice and dark.
Yes.
So, the other thing was that the last thing you wanted to say about that?
Yes.
Because I have some cool news.
Yeah, that's it.
People
Yeah.
might have
Never
missed
talk about it again.
But there's a free weekend coming this weekend.
Woo!
It starts on actually tomorrow, so Thursday. That's part of a weekend, I guess. So Thursday, February 27th. Preload's now available on PS4 and PC.
Yeah.
So if you have just joined the game and you're like, oh, this game's pretty cool, I want to...
Yes.
to bring some other friends in, now's a really good time to do that because free's,
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really argue with free.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
and I found out just before this stream, anyone who plays gets a thing,
Oh, yeah.
gets a mask
There's
of
a
some
mask.
kind.
There's a mask. Yeah.
Okay, so even if you're already on the game, you've owned it the whole time, if you log in between tomorrow and the end of Sunday, because that's the weekend, then you will get that mask.
Yes.
That's
And yes,
cool.
of course, as people are pointing out in chat, you still have the sale on the game. So the game is, available really cheap, depending on the country you're in. But if that price is still not enough to convince people, now they get to at least your friends or whoever get to try the game for free, and then if they want to buy it, they can buy it for a very good price.
Yeah. Nice. Obviously, there's been people asking about, Warlord's coming next week. When's it coming? When can I play it? We still don't have an exact launch timing release schedule locked in just yet, but we'll be posting that on the forums and on Twitter as soon as we get that.
Yeah.
So make sure you're following the Division game on Twitter and that sort of thing, and then you will find out that news as soon as we can get it.
Yeah.
End of the week, probably.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a bit more complex than a normal update because we're talking about an expansion here and everything. So that's why we need to just work out the details to make sure we give a clear communication to all of you so you know exactly when you're going to get to play it. So just bear with us. We're going to give you the details.
Cool. Other issues, we've seen a lot of people reporting things with clan and social lists. They are acting strangely, people going on and offline, a lot of inconsistencies there. While it has been difficult for us to reproduce, we think we've found the culprit and we're hoping to get that fix in with the next update, so early next week. The refer a friend rewards not showing for some players after waiting for 24 hours. We have further escalated that issue and there are some teams working on that as well. NPCs that are still getting stuck in their spawn closets or spawn areas in some missions have been reopened for investigation. And while we did make some improvements on that with TU7, there are still some edge cases that need to be dealt with.
Yeah. Just to clarify, I see in chat people talking about preload. That's preload for the free weekend. It's
Yeah.
not preload for Warlords of New York.
No.
So starting tomorrow is the preload for the free weekend.
Yeah.
On that note, while I have you on that, preload for the update? Will that be a thing?
I hope so, but I have no idea.
That's part of the details we're still working
Okay.
out, but it's complicated because it's not a new game. So preload would mean you actually get to download the update,
right.
but we haven't done maintenance on the servers yet, so there's a lot of complexity. The long story short is that we're probably not going to do it.
Yeah. So maybe we'll have some news on that when we have like timing.
It's going to be part of when we give all the details. We'll explain all of that.
Okay. Cool. All right. On to the next segment then, because that's where all the juicy information is
Yes.
awaiting us in our developer interview.
Preload during maintenance, at least. Yes, of course.
I just want to give a big shout out to George, who's taken over the
Yes.
controls today.
Yes.
Yay!
Woo, go
You're going really
George!
good, man.
Come on. We believe
so,
in you. Don't
yeah,
fuck this up.
Ella's not here today.
No pressure.
George, you're doing a great job, man.
So far.
Whoa. Dude,
I just don't make him too comfortable. Come on.
Goodness.
He has to feel the pressure.
good job. Okay. So before we dive into seasons, there are a bunch of new people out there in the community, especially since of the very aggressive price drop recently.
Yes.
We've seen a lot of people jumping back in, also people eager for the update. Can we catch those people up on well, actually no. Firstly, can we catch them up on who you are?
I was like,
because let's not make
do
the
you know who I
assumption. No, let's not make the assumption that they know who you are. I'll start.
Yeah, I was like, who are you?
Yeah, I
Come
just
on.
realized. Hi, I'm Hamish. I host this show. Have been doing that for a while. I'm also a Virgo. If you're into star signs, that's it.
All right.
That'll do, right?
I go? Okay, all right. I'm Yannick. I'm a Sagittarius, if you want to know, because apparently that's the thing we do. I'm an Associate Creative Director on The Division 2, which means I get to have opinions about what everybody else does, which is fun.
Trick.
I am Trick Dempsey. I'm also a Virgo. I am a senior. You're
Oh
surrounded.
my god, they're everywhere.
I'm a senior game designer on the Division 2. I've worked primarily on Seasons and Endgame. I've been working on Endgame since the game started. And otherwise, a bunch of really random stuff throughout the whole damn game, really. So it is hard to sum up what I do.
All right, moving on. This just in, astrology is bullshit. Well, that's my hot take for the day.
Yeah.
You do you. If you believe in that stuff, go for gold.
Well, you started it.
I did. I did. Season. No, before we get to seasons, end game. So we've talked about how people will experience what, and it's a hard thing to talk about because a lot of the terms we talk about it in are very, I think, reductive for what the player experience will be. We talk
Yes.
about RPG changes, we talk about core playing changes to the game, but what is the, I guess from a design perspective, what's the intention for the new end game for players?
So when people complete the Keener campaign, they're greeted by the seasons, which we'll cover in a moment. But what they have is they've gotten into the level 40 gear, and now they've got in front of them this mostly empty recalibration bench with its large checklist of gear to go after. You've got a bunch of activities and projects and bounties are making a return inside of Warlords of New York. So bounties have been simplified. Target intel is now gone. So if you have a bounty, you can just do a bounty. For players who are inside of the end game of Warlords of New York, the priority target network is now replaced with a new system called the Seasonal Manhunt. But for players who don't get the expansion, priority target network's still there. And you find yourself in this chase to get better and better gear because now the way that gear rolls work, normal prepares you for hard, which prepares you for challenge, which prepares you for heroic, which I personally have not been able to conquer. But I am not the best at the game, and I play on controller.
Yeah.
And so it's wild having come from the launch version of the end game to doing a lot of grinding now inside of the true end game for Warlords of New York, because it's a much clearer stair step forward in how to progress in the game, and particularly since real time matters with seasons, there's this periodic injection of new gear to help you out with that process.
Yeah. If I can add, I think the thing that's very important for everyone to understand is, I mean, Endgame was one of the main pillars for Warlords of New York. So even though Warlords of New York is a new story campaign and is, there's a new gear game and all of that, also Endgame and the way we structure Endgame is something we really wanted to look at. So when you get access to that Endgame, one thing that is really important is that you get both New York and Washington, D.C. So it's not just New York. We're basically adding to your playground. Washington, D.C. becomes available in your Endgame, but it's a new level 40 version of it that, as Trick mentioned, brings back a lot of activities, like all the activities some of them similarly, some of them transform, like the bounties, and then new activities on top of it with, for example, the legendary difficulty and things like that, and then structures all of that with the seasons.
Nice. One of the things we talked about actually before the stream, there was some criticism around in Division 1, right? When you had legendaries come out and there was that conversation around, to do legendaries, you need legendary gear.
Right.
Right? Like, I need to be able to complete this so I can complete this. And we've talked about it, if you've missed previous streams, when we had Andrada on talking about gear and how basically harder content gives you higher chance of getting that god roll gear, but you can still get that from easier content.
Yes.
I don't think the same criticism of getting in that, that feedback loop of legendary gear for legendary content you miss that. with
Yeah,
this.
and like it also like the shade levels really help with that as well because
Yeah.
even just like, oh man, I'm having a real time. Like I'm 1% too weak at this. Like I'm just barely not being able to make it into hard or challenging. Oh, you are actually gaining levels that are increasing your base stats some. It's like really hard to overstate how much that recal bench change actually is also affecting it because you go like, oh, I've gotten a gear piece that yes, it doesn't have all the rolls that I want, but I see that it has an empty space in it essentially that is perfect for what I have stored up. And not having to juggle with that with like, oh, there are 300 things in my inventory that I'm just keeping around in case I need to use them someday. That opening up that mind space to just being able to go like, oh, I know how to step forward and step up.
Yeah. But I think one of the reasons why people could be concerned about that is because some of the changes we are making, or one of the big changes we are making, is because now we have god rolls that are available again. We've changed the budget system, so we don't actually have that budget system that we had in the Division 2 so far. And I think that means now we can actually reward higher difficulty with better quality gear, so making sure that you get better rolls. But what that does not mean, which is different from situations we may have had in Division 1, for example, is that we are not gating that quality behind that difficulty. So that means you still have chances by playing a normal difficulty. You can still get god rolls, but you will have more chances to get god rolls by playing higher difficulties.
Yeah, I like that. That's really
Yeah.
cool change. And again, I was lucky enough to kind of experience that for myself. I really can't wait for people to, understand even just those minute changes of like the UI feedback of gold rolls. Like now when you go up and it says loot and you're like, oh, I actually care. Like I'm actually like super excited because I know when it pops up and like all of the things are maxed out. I'm like,
And you
yeah,
see that
okay,
little
cool.
chevron on top
Yeah.
of any
Yeah.
loot pile that has a god roll in it, and you go,
Yeah.
aha, there it is.
Or even
So
if
good.
even if it doesn't, I mean, like any gear you drop is a potential upgrade for your recalibration library. So that's what makes it cool. It's even if it's not a god roll, even if it's not a brand you're after, or even if it's not a gear set you're after, there's still a chance that it rolled one stat higher than what you already have stored in your recal, which makes it worthwhile to pick up and actually bring to your recal station to save.
We're going to address it a little bit later on in the show with a dev Q&A that George actually filmed earlier with
Yeah.
Nikki, but I wanted to bring it up while I remember. Someone was saying, oh, this again means that gear is going to be too easy and plentiful to find again. That's not how this works. And also someone was addressing like the budget system is whack. That's gone.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
totally
We
gone.
talked about that.
But it's we can to be honest, we can talk about it as much as we want. I
Yeah.
think it's something you need to experience.
Yeah.
Once you have it in your hands, and all those changes are coming with Title Update 8, so that means even if you don't have Warlords of New York, you will still experience all the gear changes. I think that's one of those things you need to get your hands on it and get a feel and see how that feels.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, just to go back to the frequency of loot drops, those are being tailored to make sense for the new system.
Yeah.
Right? It's not that
course.
there's going to be a million things still. Anyway, Nikki will tell you more in a bit. You may, if you are an astute viewer of this show, realize that a laptop on the table means there's a PowerPoint. So I know people have enjoyed those, and we've got a bunch of new information in there. So I think we should actually,
Yeah,
a
some
look
lunatic
at
put
some
me
of
at
that.
control too, so
yeah.
who knows what we're gonna do.
All right, let's take a look at this. Ooh, whoa.
All right,
Oh my God.
I love this graphic, this heavily redacted graphic.
Yeah.
So this is a roadmap of a season. So this is the first season. So every 3 weeks, a new target unlocks in the seasonal manhunt. A week after that, a league starts. We're going to cover what these words mean. After that, a global event starts. But also, you can see that in March there's a totally different type of event. The Urban Jungle Apparel event is going to run inside of there. We have 3 global events, new global events this season. 4 leagues. It's just a heck of a lot.
If,
Yeah, there's a lot.
if we need to give just a quick wrapper on what's the idea behind the season, and we talked a bit about it in previous streams or I think in the videos also. But the idea of a season is that, as you can see, this is a 3 months long mini campaign in a way. And by mini campaign, what we mean is that first there is actually a story, there is a narrative, there is a reason why you're doing what you're doing, and that story takes place directly after the events of the Warlords of New York campaign. So that's why we have so many redacted things in here, because we don't want to spoil, what that is about, because you will need to play the Warlords of New York campaign first. But there is a bit of story. There's a reason. All that story is about new targets that you will have to hunt and take down. And then in the same time, it's a calendar of activities. So as you've seen, every week a new activity, and all those activities are about just kind of, changing the way you play and forcing you to re-experience the game in different ways and, constantly making the game feel fresh. So that's really the main idea behind the season. And then all of that is, of course, takes form in different activities that we're going to be going through.
Yeah, and I'd love to cover that narrative framework by actually going to the next slide, if I could.
Let's move on.
Let's move on.
The redacted slide.
This is the most redacted slide in the presentation, I believe. But this is actually an image of the new Manhunt that becomes available 1 week after the launch of the game. So you do have a week to take your time completing the Warlords of New York campaign. You don't need to feel particularly rushed. That following Tuesday after launch, at a time that is in universal time on my desktop right now somewhere.
Okay.
At the same time, we roll over all of the dailies currently. This Manhunt will become active. You will get a briefing on the targets. The seasons will become active, and you will see this first target, who is located in West DC. They do a significant takeover of those areas. They are working with a hostile faction. That hostile faction is now present inside of those zones, even if they usually would not be. And so you go through some familiar missions and familiar activities inside of a new context, and all the while getting new narrative information about this target, their relationship with the prime target, what their mission plan is, and sometimes even their relationship to the other lieutenants inside of this structure. It's actually really neat, even if you are playing, if you've reached endgame, before this has unlocked, you actually can intercept transmissions between them by completing other activities inside of the world. So even if this is not specifically yet active, you start getting little prologues essentially to it.
Yeah. I saw someone asking if that actually replaces invasions.
No, invasions are still going on.
Yeah. It lives
DC's got
alongside.
trouble. And it actually layers on top. So like you saw there in the objective, it said like, oh, you've got to do Roosevelt Island. Roosevelt Island does not care if you are doing it inside of invaded or non-invaded mode. This is just asking you go do Roosevelt Island.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that everything is designed to layer over each other in as much like as convenient a system as possible.
Yeah.
What's nice is if you get to this center target is using a new unique skill variant. And they are going to use it against you. And once again, as sort of in the style of Warlords of New York that we've established, you will pry that from their cold dead hands, and it's yours, friend. You have a new skill variant, and that's how you get it. You get it from this target.
Yeah, that'll be the first time people see it as well in that fight, right, where it's used against you. It's nowhere else.
Yes.
It's nowhere else. Yeah, it shows up. That is a unique. We're calling them target missions. It takes you to a familiar location, but is entirely rescripted with an entirely new set of enemies, and it's all themed around introducing you to that mechanic and introducing you to that new tool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so just to go a bit on like the activities that you have on the left. So when we talk about structure, this is one of the ways we're doing it. It's like basically saying that Manhunt is a way for you to prioritize the activities you're going to be playing. So you get that checklist basically of the activities you should be doing and where you should be doing them. So if you log in and you just want to contribute to your season, you want to level up your season because the season comes with a whole progression, but we're going to be covering later, and all of that, and you just want to jump in and do the next thing, you can just go through that checklist and just then do the things that you're being asked to, or you can do whatever you want and then keep progressing your season. But of course, this is what you need to do for the Manhunt. So that's one way of helping you out. Prioritizing the activities you should be playing and making sure that you're, experiencing the whole buffet of stuff that is available in the endgame.
I would also note that you'll notice at the top right of that screen, it's back. It says normal. When you set the global difficulty, you can reset. You do reset this progress. Any progress towards the prime target remains. So it's like if you have actually killed one of their lieutenants, congrats, you've killed one of their lieutenants. But it's like, I want to see Constitution Hall, Foggy Bottom, and West End taken over again so that I can go fight those control points again. You can go fight those control points again. That is on demand, reset the world.
Yeah. And so that means that manhunt, you can do it in normal, hard,
Hard,
challenge.
yep. All the way up to heroic.
All the
because
way up to heroic.
every single mission is available in heroic.
That's
Yes.
so cool.
It's
With 5
so
directives,
hard.
you can do
And you can do
directive.
it with 5 directives.
Yes, you can add directives as well, yeah.
Yeah, do you want to do it when bullets are a commodity that's hard to get? Good
Badass.
luck.
All right, what's the slide we have after this one?
So this is a...
So sorry, the
Okay,
one
but
thing.
back we
My
go.
bad.
No, just because there was a question, so just to clarify, yes, that means that manhunt, for example, has a new skill variant, and you can expect with new seasons, new manhunt, new skill variant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with each one. And it's also important, like, we will eventually have an in-game way to get that skill variant once you're inside of Season 2.
Yes.
But we are not revealing what that is, but it will just be a thing you can do inside of the game to get access to it.
Yeah.
Cool. I also saw a quick question, and this is a side note. Someone was asking if there's more music from Ulla for Warlords, and yes, there is. And I saw him outside the elevator yesterday. Well,
Yeah.
not yesterday, last week, and he said it's been sent off for mastering.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
right.
so we will make sure that if it does go up on Spotify or anything like that, we'll hook up some links. All right, moving on.
So we wanted to make certain that seasons were really easy to access since they drive most of our experience of the end game. And so, like, this is the pause menu. It's very exciting, I can see. And it's heavily redacted, but the seasons take up front and center space there. You're going to have a season level. There will be information about the activities that are available and a little bit about the target. That's why we had to redact it.
It's going to look a bit more exciting in,
Yeah. It's
when
very-
it comes out.
It's
Also-
very on brand.
First party test. There you go.
Oh,
That's,
is
the,
that
that's the
is
news.
that the name of the player?
No, it's the news.
Oh,
the news
okay.
is a first party
The
test.
news
There
is
you
a
go.
first party test, yeah.
Work in progress build.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But if you go into that menu, you can see your season level, and there's more information. But the big thing that drives what does a season level mean is that it moves you along this timeline of rewards. You've got a standard track on top, and you have a premium track on bottom. And for people who've purchased Warlords of New York, that premium track comes with the expansion.
Yeah.
We want everyone to have an experience of what that is like. The top track, I wish I could scroll this screen over. I keep trying to with my hands.
Yeah.
Those first 35 levels basically are just back-to-back new items from new gear sets, new brands, new everything, all along the standard track, all of the new named weapons,
Yeah.
all the way up culminating to in a new exotic that is new to this season. We want that to be available to everyone. This is a smorgasbord of new features that you can just toggle through as somebody who's not following this stream and just see this is all the new stuff. It's all right there.
Yeah. So just to clarify the paid, not paid and everything, because there were questions from the beginning. So just to clarify, the season itself, and so the season with the manhunt, with all the activities, the global events and all of that is available for every Warlords of New York player. So as long as you purchase the expansion, you will get access to the season and the seasons, each one of them, that's included. What you pay with the premium pass is just the extra track of rewards on top of the standard track. So you get basically more rewards, you get more items, you get more gear, and also a lot of unique premium stuff. Like there is a whole outfit that we're going to be covering. There's a bunch of like name weapon skins, so skins uniquely made to change the appearance of name weapons. We have new gear dice that are the full gear dice, the ones that cover the entirely gear. All of that is part of the premium track, which is what you will be purchasing. Except for Season 1, because as Trick said, Season 1, we are making the premium track of Season 1 available for free for all the Warlords of New York player. So
Yeah.
you won't have to purchase that one. Starting with Season 2, this will be a purchase, and that will be priced at 10 euros or equivalent for
I think it's cool.
wherever you come from.
People get a chance to experience what that track is like
Yeah.
for free or included in their Warlords purchase. They can see if that's something that they like. I would just reinforce what you said before. The things that are on that premium track, none of the exclusives on that track have power tied to them.
Correct. So there are things down there that will give you more items. So like the bottom left item in that image is a season cache. That is going to give you 2 random season items, but none of that is exclusive to that track. That
Yeah.
is you can get those by participating in events and get them other ways. There are even some of those on the standard track.
Yeah.
But you will get some gameplay items, but the things that are unique on that premium track are all
Yeah.
cosmetic.
Yeah. And so just again, because I see a lot of confusion. So if we need to spend a bit more time, I want to spend a bit more time because I want to make sure people understand. There is a pass for each season to get the premium track. So when I say it's 10 euros or about $10 for people asking, what does that mean in American money? That means $10 basically. What that means is this is what you need to, what you would purchase to unlock the premium track of a season. So for season 2, you pay $10, you get the premium track of season 2, and so on and so forth.
Sure.
For each season. Except again for season 1, because this is included directly in your Warlords of New York purchase, so you don't have to spend those $10. This is already granted to you for free.
Cool.
But that, again, is just the premium track. The rest of the season, the activities, all the rewards, this is all available for all Warlords of New York for every season.
Yeah, a lot of the follow-up questions I'm getting, and a lot of people are answering them too, because Chris, our Comdev, is answering them in chat. 3 months per season?
Yes.
months,
It's 12 weeks of active and 1 week of that preseason where you get foreshadowing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's 13 weeks total.
Ooh, foreshadowing.
Yeah, I love foreshadowing.
Yes.
That's cool. Are we ready to head back over
Yeah.
here?
So you'll notice that we've got this one redacted slot here because we've been saving sort of a big surprise for next. Some people put together because they recognize the gear set that is along the top, but along that top set of rewards, you're going to get a full Striker gear set and a full System Corruption gear set as you progress through the season. These are Striker is a returning old favorite, remastered now for Division 2, and System Corruption is a explicitly more PvP focused gear set. These are available on the season track. They're available inside of season caches, which are things that you get by doing seasonal activities and stuff like that. But in addition, Striker is available anywhere gear sets are sold. You can find them inside of targeted loot. You can find them just as random drops. System Corruption, on the other hand, is our new Dark Zone specific gear set. So that is, aside from its presence inside of seasonal rewards, it lives in the Dark Zone. It is explicitly meant for the Dark Zone. Have a good time. It is a nightmare to fight, but it's also it has a huge skill ceiling to use. It is a very tough to use, but once mastered, very powerful gear set.
Striker was definitely my go-to in the Division 1. I'm mega excited about it.
It was many people's go-to.
Would you mind, especially when Striker was working with SMGs, lol, can you just read through those things for our podcast listeners?
Yes. So the main talent, the 4-piece talent, is something called Striker's Gamble. Weapon hits amplify total weapon damage by 0.5%, stacking up to 50 times. 1 stack is lost each second. 3 stacks are lost every time you miss a shot.
Nice. And then we have
Gonna sound familiar.
the chest piece and backpack talents.
Yeah, so one of the big changes that has come into the way that we handle gear sets inside of Warlords of New York is that, well, actually, all gear in Warlords of New York is that gear has talents on chest and backpack, and that's where those live. Otherwise, exotics have them because exotics are exotics and they do whatever the hell they want. But the chest piece talent on gear sets is always a way to make the gear set more itself. So the chest piece talent for Striker set is Press the Advantage. It increases the max stats for Striker's Gamble from 50 to 100.
Yep.
And the backpack talent is Risk Management. Decreases stacks lost and missed shots for Striker's Gamble from 3 to 2.
That's nice. The sleeper hit of the Striker gear set is the absolute baller 15% rate of fire on the 3-piece.
Yeah, it's
That's huge.
That's
and weapon
also
handling
cool,
is
yes.
actually a really good buff as well.
Yeah.
It's more subtle, but it's really important for not missing a million shots when you're using a vector with this, for example.
All right, can we go over the system corruption points just before we move on?
Yes. So System Corruption has the Hack Step protocol. Replaces armor kits with an instant, infinite usability on a 20-second cooldown that grants 50% bonus armor and hides your nameplate for 5 seconds. It is, you're about to get into a fight, you turn this thing on. Because you'll notice, you don't have armor kits anymore, so I hope you brought some other way to get your armor back. The chest piece talent on that is the Compiler Optimization. It decreases the hack step cooldown from 20 seconds to 15. And the backpack talent is Multi-Threaded Execution. It increases hack step protocol bonus armor from 50% to 100%. It's so good.
Yeah, can we just restate as well? Someone was saying that the helmet looks super sick. That's part of the Striker outfit, correct?
The helmet, yes.
Yes, that is
So-
part of the Striker outfit.
Yes.
That's something that people can get on the free track.
Yeah, that is on
the
that
premium
is on the
track.
premium
Oh, it's
track.
on the premium
But
track.
the premium
Yes.
track is free for Warlords of New York.
Yeah, so that on this one they
For
don't have to
season
pay
one.
to have access to it.
But yes, this is the idea with the premium track. There is an outfit that comes that you can unlock that is connected to the gear set of the season. Here we are taking Striker as a gear set of the season, so that means you get to have an outfit that basically looks cool with the gear set. So you have one fully unified look.
And you actually get that. It was actually in our preview image. It is the level 5 reward that we've redacted because I was overcautious in requesting redactions.
Somehow we got carried away with the redacted.
That's where it
and so it's even relatively early. So you want to look like a baller striker fighter, it's right there. Especially, I think that machine gun might be the glory days. And so that's also a really good one to go along with it.
Very cool.
To the left.
Yes.
All right. So what do we have after this one?
So this is when you go to the pause menu and you actually come into the seasons menu, this is what greets you. It tells you what your season level is, it tells you what rewards are coming up, it tells you what the current ongoing events are and how much time is left in all of them, as well as you can just scroll right and scroll left and see the history and the future throughout the entire season for all 3 months of content. And you can see what all of these activities are, what their rewards are, and all of that. Right now, what we are looking at is the Polarity Switch global event, which I'm checking my notes to see if that's what I'm supposed to talk about next.
Yeah,
yes,
that's,
we can talk
that's
about
fine.
Polarity Switch.
So Polarity Switch is great, and I think we've got a video to go along with it.
We do. We can have a chat while we have a look at that video as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to show up in just a second.
So when a global event is started, players opt into it. You do so here inside of the seasons menu. You can do that if you're in any safe space. And now when you walk out, you're greeted by these enemies who are yellow or blue. And you'll notice that your arm is either yellow or blue, positive or negatively charged. You do extra damage based on how well you're playing, essentially, to same polarity enemies. And if you really want them to change polarity, you can go up and punch them in the face. That'll change the polarity of them and everyone else in their fire team. And so there's a lot of strategy. Your polarity changes every time you reload or every time you switch weapons. And by matching, you'll notice that he's got a 4 over his shoulder and he's about to have a 5.
Yeah.
That is a stacking buff for, hey, you're doing this correct. That damage buff is getting stronger for shooting those same color enemies.
Is there a cap for that?
I believe it caps at 5. I think
caps
5
at
is as
5,
high as it
yeah,
go,
yeah.
but it's
Just check.
5's a lot. You're murdering
Yeah.
these guys. I'm certain someone will
Yeah.
frame by frame through this and see the exact percentages. However, if you get it wrong, you're essentially given exactly one mistake, is it wipes out all of your stacks. And then a short moment later, if you hit with a second bullet, you will receive a shock for having played wrong.
I think we see that coming up soon in the
Yeah,
gameplay,
it's
actually.
coming. So again, here you're yellow, so you want to shoot the yellow enemies because if you shoot the blue, you're going to be punished. So as long as you shoot the yellow, you build up your stack. Here you switch to blue because there's a blue coming. So up, you can kill the blue, build up your stack. But you always have to be aware of what color they have, what color you have. As long as you play it right, you're going to get that damage buff, which means you're actually going to be more powerful than in the normal game. But as soon as you do it wrong, like that, boom. So
Very cool.
don't do it wrong.
And it's really wild because this stacks really complexly with the with some of the directives, because one of the directives is ammo hoarders, and so you actually get a lot less ammo, and every time you reload, it dumps all of the ammo that was inside of your magazine, making this get very complicated very quickly unless you're being very, very aware. But directives are always opt-in. You can turn them on for just a mission or turn them on globally. And so it's a really complex and revitalizing way to kick into the game.
That's really cool.
Somebody was just asking actually, because I don't know how much we've shown that, but someone was actually noticed and said, what's the green bar under the XP bar, the orange XP bar? That's your season progression, basically.
Nice.
So when you're in the season, you will see that you actually have 2 XP bars that are progressing together. The first one on top, the orange one, is your shade level, if you remember, with the the watch and the progression that comes with it.
Yep.
And then the one underneath, the green one, that's your progression, your season progression. So that's your progression towards the next season level.
I actually, and we left this out entirely, and I got to go back to it, is the season levels go from 1 to 100. And so there's that whole long stretch of rewards. And those level ups are timed to be about the same as you experience right now with the field proficiency caches.
Yeah.
So if you're somebody who just wants to grind through the season levels because you're going to have just a really marathon play session, we're expecting, about 50 to 100 hours based on the timings of those. But if you're somebody who engages every weekend and plays inside of the events that go on during the course of the season, each of those is tuned to, if you engage with it fully, provide you about 15 levels. So if you are somebody who plays just sort of on the weekend and wants to get into it for really intense sessions just then, you can catch up. If you fall behind inside of a season, it's still fully achievable.
Okay. Very cool. So we're talking about Polarity Switch here,
Yes.
so global
Yeah.
events. There are other ones, and I think we did see the names of them. We're not going to go into how they work mechanically today.
Yeah, we'll save Reanimated and Guardians for the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, people might have some
But there is
theory about...
there is 3 global events in season 1.
All right, reanimated doesn't mean zombies,
Polarity
right?
Switch, the one we just showed, is one of them.
Cough.
All right.
So this right
No,
now...
hang on.
What?
Reanimated doesn't mean zombies.
Cough.
Just wait and you'll find out.
All right.
So anyway, this is the Polarity Switch interface with some minor redacting because it's an image, once again, of our main target on the left there. Global events are structured around the concept of challenges. So each of these challenges you'll see has a star value. So you get 4 stars for killing 200 positively charged enemies. And those stars will get you rewards along your way. And so each day of a global event, new challenges will unlock. But those are unlocking. Those aren't like becoming like available and becoming unavailable. So on day 5 of a global event, you have all of these challenges to do. I recommend like paying attention to them as a player because some of them will kind of teach you the less obvious mechanics of the events, because like that punching enemies in the face, I think on this list you can even see, change the polarity of hostile fire teams 50 times. And so if you don't notice that till late, it's really hard to finish. But if you're just doing it during the course of an event, it's really easy.
Okay.
Every time that you complete a challenge, also you get a big chunk of season XP. Well, XP. So that'll apply both to your shade level and to your season level. So it really behooves you to engage with these events.
Yeah.
But every one of these global events has 10 rewards in it. Just as a thanks for playing, for turning it on, you will get a unique patch that celebrates the global event itself, this magnetic patch. And then along it, as you complete challenges, you'll get crafting materials, season caches, which are those drops of 2 powerful seasonal items, named items, and even as you notice at the end here, that tier 9 reward is an exotic cache, which is a random exotic weapon, or actually can be gear, what am I thinking? That is curated so that it doesn't ever contain anything that is exclusive to the raid, and I think there are a couple of other omissions from that we want to keep special.
Yeah.
Okay.
But otherwise, hey, it's a big pool of exotics, and if you engage with these and complete all of the challenges, you get that. You get a unique backpack trophy for each of the different global events, and the global events will return from season to season, so you'll have an additional chance to get those patches and those backpack trophies.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so one thing just to reiterate is the fact that when you play global events, for example, global event is one of the events that is available as part of a season. So you play the global event. As you play the global event, you're going to gain XP by just killing NPCs or completing some of the global event challenges. That will, as you complete the challenges, that's going to make you work towards the next global event reward. But at the same time, as all of that brings you XP, it contributes to your season progression as well. So it's really, when you play a season, it's about gaining XP the way you want. So if you want to play, whatever activity, you're going to gain XP. It's going to help you progress in the season. Or you can play the season activities, like the global event, for example, and that's going to give you even more season XP, so you progress even faster. But it's really 2 things that synergize together and work in parallel, and you can, just play the season and play whatever activity you prefer if you don't want to do the global event, or you can play the global event as well.
Although Polarity Switch is a blast, so absolutely, I recommend playing it.
Yes.
So global events last 1 week. There are going to be 3 of them during the course of the season, as you saw on the graphic at the start of this. However, we do have a special 2-week kind of event that is a league. So while global events are intended to be like a really welcoming anyone can turn this on. You can play all sorts of weird challenges. Everything is fine and dandy. Leagues are skill challenges to our players. So as you can see here, this is the West Side League. This is the first league inside of the season. It's themed around outcasts and really ruining their day. And so you've got 4 time trials on this: Federal Emergency Bunker, Potomac Event Center, DCD Headquarters, and Roosevelt Island on Heroic. And you are challenged to say, oh, I'm going to beat these as fast as I can. And you will essentially get 1 to 10 milestones, 1 to 10 stages completed on those. If you complete enough stages, you will be getting rewards.
Are they unique rewards?
They are unique rewards.
Ooh, okay, so
It's
now
a mix of unique and some of them
Yeah.
have seasonal caches and stuff, but there are also unique rewards to these leagues.
Okay. Well, now I'm getting like Baron
going to show them.
Rivendell, like that. Anyone? Anyone?
I got nothing.
Okay, Baron Rivendell, like Mount time trials from WoW. It was sick. All right.
So this is an example. This is our Outcast Elites Killed milestone list. So, I get 1 stage of this for killing 15 elites. And then all the way down to, hey, 250 elites down there at the bottom. And there's a leaderboard on this. You can see how you place compared to other players.
Yeah.
Every week, these will reset your progress on them, but you'll retain your stages complete. So if you're somebody who is just literally the best player of our video game, you can...
We have many of those.
We have a lot of those. I see some inside of the chat. You can just clear this out. There are 60 stages right in front of you. It's 60 stages to get to the end of this. You can get every reward in the league in the first week because you're just a golden god of murder. But if you don't have that investment of both time, energy, and buy, it takes a lot of grinding to be able to even fight a heroic mission at all. You can engage with these and get, I only got half my progress this week. I can get half my progress the next week.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I think one thing to really differentiate global event and leagues is the fact that, in the way you're going to, or like what we're asking you, basically the challenges we're giving you in global events. Some people have noted, like the values of some of the challenges we're giving you, like kill 200 NPCs or whatever. Global events are really about just like playing the game with the modifier active and playing with the modifier. So it's not meant to be hard. It's meant to be just like learning to master the modifier, playing around with the modifier, and then putting the time into actually going all the way to the end. Whereas the leagues are more meant for tough challenges in a way. So we're going to be giving you time trials and things like that to really make you really try to push yourself and try to complete this mission in challenging as fast as you can, or that mission in heroic as fast as you can. Because on top of that, of course, you get your tiers, but you also have leaderboards that are linked to each one of those challenges. So you also can, race for the top of the leaderboards.
Nice. Hey, Solid. You carry me, bro?
What's also nice is we do, of those last 2, Outcast Members Burned and Outcast Elites Killed, are a more investment time, like, I'm going to make a build that burns people. And so I'm going to get a lot of burned targets. And there's some solving from a build standpoint, but those aren't like, as I have to be perfect exactly once in order to do like a time trial. So there's an opportunity for you, if you don't want to have the high tension of always dealing with a timer, that you can instead face those other 2 activities, the bottom right there on screen. I'm going to go to the rewards of this. Once again, there's a unique patch associated with each league. This is not a just you have started it ever trophy, unlike the global events. This does actually require completing some of the activities. You've got your exotic cache in there, you've got your named item cache, and then once again a unique backpack trophy if you can get all the way to 60 stages unlocked. It's a lot. I love them. There's also a special interface that pops up when you're playing them in game to give you a more in-your-face reminder that you are updating activities. All of the league activities are marked on the mega map so that you can tell, that's where the time trials are. When you're selecting difficulty, it points it to it. If you've set your global difficulty higher than challenge, for example, usually you would not be able to do challenging missions. But if they're part of a league, it just allows you to set it to challenging again. Because it is, once again, everything is meant to be layered together.
Nice. Yeah, there's so much.
There's so much.
There's so much.
Yes.
I guess the last sort of major topic that we want to cover. Apparel events are coming back. You saw it on the first slide. Urban Jungle is going to be our apparel event. It's going to be 3 weeks long. It's going to have a 1-week closing period again. It coincides with our second target of the season coming available, and also therefore the second league. It is the same mechanics that you're familiar with, but we've done like a major pass on the UI so that it's like, oh, I am 2 levels away from getting my next event key.
Yeah.
It says it when you level up. It says it on the menu. It shows how many of the boxes
nice.
have I opened versus how many keys do I have. All of that's available to you sort of whenever, because previously you would have to like either get a level up and see that update, or go to the store and find the caches and keys menu inside of there. And so now it's all kind of in one place,
Yeah.
as well as all of the other places that it was previously listed. It also gives you that rad mask that you saw in the preview is actually the completion reward, which I think is a good little toxic filter mask.
That's really cool. I'm so excited.
I'm super excited about it.
What was it? Button Dash was like global events, leagues, apparel events, all going on at the same time. It sounds kind of insane. I mean, the idea with seasons is really, it's really first to kind of pace things. So the idea is every week there's an activity, or pretty much every week there's an activity that is available for you. So we help you prioritize and say, okay, this week this is what you should be doing. But again, really seasons, it's all about you being able to make a decision, because from the get-go you will see all the activities that will be available for the next 3 months. You will be able to see, what rewards you're going to get and all of that, what rewards you get from the season, from each activity. So it's really for people that react to how much like grind this is or whatever. It's really about you just looking at all of that and deciding how much you want to invest, and do you want to work all the way towards maxing out the league because you want that backpack trophy, or if you're not interested in the backpack trophy, don't max out the league. That's fine. Just play something else and keep contributing to your season if the season progression is what you're after. So it's really about just giving you all the elements for the next 3 months and let you decide, what are the objectives that you set for yourself and what are you going to be working towards.
And like one nice thing is like even if you're not excited about a league or excited about the current global event, even resetting the manhunt. Every time you complete a named zone inside of that manhunt comes with a big burst of XP as well. So if you're just like, I'm going to replay the manhunt over and over. I love these control points. I love setting the control point levels to all be heroic by doing a heroic world. My God, it's wild. I don't know how anyone will do it, but I'm sure I'm going to watch it be done.
Yeah. I think it is also worth stating, while there is a lot to do with all this seasonal content and that sort of thing, you don't have to do any of it.
No.
Like, just for those people who are like, oh my God, there's so much I have to do everything. Like, you also
It's fine.
don't.
Yeah,
It's fine.
Projects have been heavily simplified as well. So there's a daily and a weekly of PvE. There's a daily and a weekly of PvP. No more having like 9 different sources and different people you have to turn into. It's all done in the field for players who've completed Warlords of New York. We've done a lot to. That's why target intel has gone away from bounties. It's just like that's gone because we don't want you to be juggling too many plates at once.
Yeah. Another thing that I think is interesting to mention is that even though when you look at this, the rewards track or the rewards tracks that we showed for the season, and we said as you rank up, you're going to get gear and item and all the seasonal gear. When the season starts, all the gear is also added to the drops, to the loot drops. So that means that even if you're after this gear set, you don't even need to play with the season at all to get it. You will have chances to drop it by playing, regular gameplay. So it's really up to you to decide how you want to invest, and you can completely ignore the season if you want to. That's also you would still, not block yourself out of all the new gear that we're adding, because that gear gets added to the loot pool anyway.
Yeah, if you see a rifle on there that's like way later in the progress than you want it to be, you can go look at targeted loot, go find assault rifles or rifles, and be like, I'm gonna go get it. That named item is in there.
Yeah. One thing that I just want to clarify, because I've seen a few people asking. So we've said that, but we've said that in the past, I think. But just to reiterate, seasons are endgame level 40 only. So that means you need to own Warlords of New York to be able to play a season, and you need to have completed the campaign, the Keener campaign of Warlords of New York. So you need to be level 40 and have finished the campaign before you can play seasons.
I mean, the narrative picks up from the events of Warlords.
Exactly.
So, like,
it's, as we said, it's a continuation of the story. So you need to have finished the main storyline first.
Very cool. Yeah, people are saying rip my sleep schedule. Yeah, that's not untrue.
If you want to complete
If you want
everything, sure.
go
But
for
once
gold.
again, it's there is there is plenty enough of XP and things to do for you to reach the max rank of the season without having to max out all the activities in there. So it's again, there's a lot there. We are not expecting everyone to complete all of it. That would be crazy. Some people might, but that's not what we're asking you. That's why we are putting things like backpack trophies or whatever stuff that you might want to have, but not something like super unique and exclusive and whatever, because that would be pushing people towards grinding things they don't want to grind.
Yeah. I just want to go back to someone in chat saying, before I kill Kina. No one's ever said that. So the only thing that has been said on stream is like, you will engage with Kina and you will
deal
defeat
with
him. You'll defeat Kina, but what that means is yet to be revealed. There's cool things coming.
I'm not commenting.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. No spoilers. Yeah, we're not going to give you any spoilers. I actually do. I think not do want to give you spoilers, but I do want to throw to something that did come out yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
The animated.
Yeah.
Thing. I kind of want to take a quick little break.
The final point we probably should talk about though.
Then after that final point, then we're going to show you the animated trailer. What was the point you wanted to make?
Towards the end of the season, like right now we're aiming for maybe the last 3 weeks, but we're not sure. We know that there are going to be a lot of new players coming into the game, and we know that it can be really rough to clear out that schedule to engage with all of our content, especially if you join late. We are going to be putting onto the season's reward menu the option to actually just purchase the season levels outright using premium currency.
Okay.
We are going to keep that to the end of the season. It is exclusively like, I work a lot. And I've got, if you are somebody else who also has not the time or have joined too late, like you deserve to also get access to that exotic that is on that timeline. You deserve to get those, the gear dyes and emotes and that kind of thing that are on the season track. And if you join late, that's not really going to be a possibility for you.
Sure.
And so we want to make those available. And so only at the end of the season, we are going to open up the option to actually purchase only season levels. They won't impact your shade level. They're just going to get you those items inside of that track.
Yeah, I think it goes to address like a thing we've had before, where we've had events, and the example of a global event where there was a mask, people could miss out, right?
Yeah.
It's really a catch up because we don't want people to show up at the end and be like, oh my god, no, I need to grind. I have just 2 weeks to try to catch up with everything. So for people that are going to be playing the season from the get go, first they will probably reach that max level way before that, so they will have all the content before the other ones. They will also get to get all the rewards from all the activities that other players may have missed, so like all the rewards from the leagues and the global events and all of that. But therefore, that season level and the rewards that are tied to that, if you arrive at the end, you still have a way to catch up.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you've completed all of the events, if you literally do all of the events up to, I think, even the second target in the season, you're going to be most of the way through the season levels, and you're going to complete it sometime during the third target. And that's not even like a huge time investment player who's just sinking in 100 hours. Somebody who sinks in 100 hours is going to have this well and done pretty early on.
Yeah, we did mention it before. Level RX was just saying pay to win. No, the only things that you are on those tracks, nothing that you pay for will give you power.
I mean,
from the premium track.
Yeah, well, the premium track, I mean,
That's
so you've got a small number of season caches in there that'll give you randomized versions of the things on the standard track. And the standard track items are good. Those are not being rolled at normal difficulty. They're being rolled at a higher difficulty than that. But those are available to everyone. And by leveling up, they're concentrated very early in the track. They lead up to level 35 where that exotic is, which is also super achievable. If you're just doing the events, you'll get that in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah. So they are, just to be 100% transparent here, yes, there are items on the premium track, but there is no exclusive gameplay item that you can't get anywhere else. Everything that you get on the premium track is random. It's just more items from the season, but this is stuff you're going to get on the standard track as well, and stuff that you're going to be able to drop in the game as well. So there is nothing that you're going to get earlier or that you're going to get exclusively from spending money.
I have a highlight list of those items on the premium track that was conveniently printed out before me.
Okay.
Because you'll get apparel keys, crafting materials, some of those random caches. The unique season outfit, some unique named weapon skins. So the named weapons inside of the game, you can get a skin that actually changes their appearance, but only that weapon. some emotes, some unique gear dies. There was actually one in our preview image earlier that are going to be on those 3-channel gear dies that'll completely change the color of gear. Faction keys for opening faction chests, which, by the way, now show up on the minimap. I keep forgetting that's just a dumb thing we added that's really helpful, because it sucks to miss those. And I think, and textiles, because we're a video game that has something called textiles in it now.
Yes.
I like it.
I feel like we've made a real Euro game now.
There you go. There you go. All right.
Yes.
Can we look at the animated?
Can we
thing?
do the cool thing? 'Cause the
Yeah,
animated
so
thing
cool.
is
we kind of
really
went
good.
over time, so
Yeah, we're going super over time. This is going to end up being longer than an hour.
sorry, we had too many things to talk about.
I don't feel bad. Although I am hungry. This is my dinner time.
Yeah.
My stomach needs food. All right, we're going to take a look at this animated trailer. I mean, not trailer. It's like an animated short that was.
Yeah.
It's super cool. There's some narrative things in there.
George, I think a light just died.
No, it's been doing that. It
It
means
bothers
something.
me. George, fix it.
It means something. It's
It's
Morse
I
code.
blame you. You
fine.
were doing so good.
It's not George's fault.
It's George.
It's my fault, to be
George's
honest.
fault.
Actually, it's this building's fault, and this building is on its last legs from an electrical standpoint, and we're moving,
Yeah.
and I'll talk about that in a sec. But here is the animated short that came out very recently, if you missed it. Let's take a look at it.
We were their best agents.
Division drone activated.
The first wave. When things turned ugly, they abandoned us. I had to do something. I had to take control.
Damn it.
I know you will help me. You will lend me your skills, and in return, I will get you the answers you seek and deserve. The Division betrayed you, Theo, just like when they had your father killed.
The system is corrupt to its core, man. If we don't do anything about it, it'll never end. We must take down the Division.
Don't worry, we'll get them. We'll get the truth out.
Stock exchange is secured. Needs a bit of a cleanup here. It's not too shabby. I think my Rikers and I could call this place home.
I'm sure you'll make it work. I know family is everything to you, now more than ever. But don't forget your end of the bargain, Dragoff.
Dude, we'll get you what you need. And we'll keep Theo safe.
Good. I knew you and I would get along.
Hey, where you going?
Finish what you started. I need to catch a shadow.
Give me one reason not to kill you.
You don't want to kill me. We're the same, Kajika. We were both betrayed by the Division, left to die like dogs. Except we don't die easy, do we?
What do you want, Keener?
I know who you're looking for. I will bring you everyone who betrayed you. And you can do what you want to them.
Are you serious, Keener? This was never going to be solved by the Division. They didn't have the guts to do what was necessary. And we were the ones who paid the price. The cleaners, though, they had the right idea all along.
You're right, Vivian. And with you leading them, they're more powerful than ever.
I will do what needs to be done. And I will see this to the very end.
Agent Lau, we're closing in on Keener. Ready to breach.
Flash out! Go, go!
Agents, did you get him?
No, he's gone, Faye.
We need backup. Command, patch me through to DC.
Ooh, all right. That's a lot. Actually, while that was playing, we were just George. You can switch back now. That's cool. I mean, not to my face now. It's all like confronting. No, we were just talking about like how there's a lot of cool lore in that, and we were specifically talking about how the Coney Island thing really focuses on Conley. And
I love the foreshadowing of Conley. I think she's an excellent character. Like, oh wow, this is what it means for someone to be a good bad guy. Like,
yeah.
She's got every reason to be doing what she's doing, but she has to be stopped.
But that's the cool thing with Warlords of New York, I think, and we talked about that. But it's just like every target you go after has a backstory. So it's not just NPCs you go after because the video game tells you to do that. But there's actually every single one of them has reasons to go rogue, and it's kind of exploring this idea of like what does it take for someone to go rogue, and is that something that I can understand?
Well, it's I like it. Like, people can kind of see why Keener got to where he was. It's that whole like Thanos had some good ideas, like thing from a. I mean, I'm not on the lore team, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's you can see their perspective.
Yeah,
right?
we've definitely done like a heavier focus on character.
Yeah.
And that's refreshing, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily chaotic evil.
Okay.
That's my point.
All right.
We're gonna get in spoiler territory.
I'd say chaotic lawful. Lawful neutral?
Don't we have a dev Q&A we're supposed to show?
Yes. All right. We
Weren't you hungry 2 minutes ago?
We talked about it before. I am starving. I do actually want to show the thing that I talked about before. We do have a dev Q&A, and I think we should just roll the one that George recorded earlier. George? Yeah, let's line it up. And again, I want to shout out to George. George has been standing for an hour just absolutely killing it on the
that man has no
on
chair.
the controls.
Yeah.
This is his first time. Chat, if you could give some clap to George.
He
Or
hasn't fixed the light.
your boy Roll Yet, who's got that mad YouTube clout. But here it is, the dev Q&A that he recorded with Nikki a little bit earlier this week. Check it out.
Who are you and what do you do here?
My name is Nicky Kuppens, and I'm a senior game designer on The Division 2.
So the reason I'm catching up with you today is we have a couple of questions regarding crafting. The first one being, what will happen to the crafting bench in Warlords of New York for players of level 30 to 40?
So a couple of changes are going to happen either way, whether you have the expansion or not. And that's because of the whole new gear system. I think it's important to know that stuff that used to give you 500 gear score items guaranteed is no longer going to do that, because 500 gear score, or now 515, is a god-rolled, fully max power item. And we don't just hand those to you all of the time, basically. So what's going to happen to the crafting bench is that we're going to go back to a range of power. So if you're still using gear score because you don't play Warlords, you will see that it has a certain minimum of gear score and a maximum of gear score. Kind of what it was in the world tiers, but in a narrower range. And then if you purchase the last upgrade to your bench, which used to set it to 500, that's going to just raise the minimum of gear score so that you filter out the worst items that you craft, basically. And for Warlords, as soon as you enter New York, we're going to set your crafting bench back to specialized quality, so that it kind of follows the loot progression again, because you're going to start seeing green and blue and purple and orange. So we're going to set it to blue, so it's on par with what you find, but then automatically by leveling up, it will go up to purple and then eventually back to high end.
So leading on from that, what's going to happen to our exotics?
Just like any other gear, exotics are going to change a lot in terms of how they work and fit the new gear system and reworked talents and so on. So we really want you to experience the new content and find the new stuff without you just pressing a button and having a fully god-rolled item, and that would kind of nullify the new end game, basically. So we do want to bring that back, but we want to do it in a way that makes sense for the new gear game and also utilizes the exotic materials in a better way than it does today. So don't throw away your exotics. They're not useless, but we won't be bringing those back to level 40 through the crafting bench. You can still find them at level 40 if you actually really need to have them, but you have to do that by engaging with the new end game and the new content.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, Nikki. That was really cool. Someone was saying, yeah, blurry George air confirmed. It is. Very cool. If you have any other questions as well that you think would be good to have on the Dev Q&A, do let us know. Tweet at George. Tweet at your boy Rolyat. RXLYAT. Do it. And also just tell him that you like that content because I think it's really cool. And also don't send him nudes. That'd be really good.
That'd be rude.
We do have a couple of agent highlights that I want to get through really quick. We've been here for like way over time. Like
Yeah,
we're not getting paid overtime for this, and I am not currently eating food. I need to do it. All right, agent highlights for this week. Let's just go straight into it. There's a couple of really cool ones that we've got, and I think Yannick will like one of them.
I haven't seen any of these. I'm very excited.
Oh my god.
No, that's not the first one. Can we go hit? I think this is, anyway, we got another one. So we talked about Vivian Conley.
Yeah.
I did talk about this cosplay last week.
Yeah.
Slow Penguin actually took some pictures last week, I think, but now is in front of the camera and super cool.
But Slow Penguins cosplay are always on point though. They're always amazing. But
Yeah.
yeah, I really like that, we see cosplays of Conley and some of the bad guys from Warlords of New York already. And this one is very
Yeah.
cool.
Well
this
done, Slow
outfit-
Penguin. This is dope. It's
This
really cool.
outfit is fire.
It is fine. There's some really cool Conley stuff out there. I want to also give a shout out to NGN Gaming, my boy from New Zealand, who does some really cool lore videos. He's done a really good wrap up of episode 3 and the Coney Island lore thing. So NGN Gaming on YouTube. Definitely hit up Slow Penguin's Twitter as well. So slowpenguin_cos. I think it's the same on Instagram as well that she uses. So definitely go check that out too. All right. Let's move on to the next one. It's actually Umbra's
Nice.
minis.
Are those Necromunda minis?
No, they 3D printed.
They're 3D printed.
wow.
Oh my
So
god.
I'm pretty sure, Umbra, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if you're in chat right now. Umbra's actually, maybe we're talking about hopefully getting some of these unpainted sent over so we could paint them, Yannick, if you'd be into that.
We could plan to paint them and never paint
Look,
them.
I am good at painting my Warhammer minis. You're terrible.
Well, I've painted a few. I've told them we should start playing.
You've painted like
I'm
280.
wretched at painting Warhammer minis. I eventually gave up and sold my collection because I was just like, I'm never doing this, apparently.
I have enough for a kill team.
That's true. We just need to get around to playing.
Yes.
But if anyone would be interested in like a painting stream, we could make that happen at some point.
Yes.
And Umbra, these are super cool. I don't think we could paint them that well.
No, these look amazing.
But very, 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 very cool. Love it. All right. With that, we have got through everything we needed to talk about today. Obviously, based on the length of the stream, seasons are a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot of game.
Very busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. It's a lot, but it's a lot of fun. I think once you get into it and you start playing, it's just it feels good to have all those checklists of things to complete and just be kind of helped and guided in what you should be doing, and just in general, like the global events are a lot of fun. Polarity Switch is really a lot of fun. So,
And it's also a big shout out to all the teams that helped us out, putting
Yes.
this all together, because this has been a huge international effort.
It's
and,
gigantic.
Yeah.
It's been amazing.
yes.
No, the team should be very, very proud.
Yeah.
There's a lot of game there.
Yeah.
If you need a medical certificate for work next week,
Yes.
just hit us up on Twitter and I'll write you a prescription for something.
Uh-huh.
It'll
Yeah.
be totally legit and no one's going to get in trouble.
What
Promise.
is happening?
It's fine. Well, I mean, people need time off. We're going to try and organize some streams for next week. I think Chris is talking to some people about that. So a lot of gameplay streams. I really want to just play this game.
Yeah, I think
so-
I have an email about doing that I've been ignoring because it's a very tough time right now.
Yeah, it'd be very cool. But yeah, so next week's going to be huge. And then we'll have to figure out what we're going to do because we're moving offices. And
It's
it's going
next week. Oh my god! I keep like
I feel sick.
I keep waking up and be like, oh my god, next week. Oh.
I don't feel great. I'm just going to stay home next
It's
week.
Tuesday sometime.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So join us for a lot of cool things next week. There's that whole redacted thing that is redacted if you redacted. And then there's the redacted. So
This conversation's getting reductive.
redacted.
So, someone give food to that man. We're losing him.
Yeah, it's done. All right. Join us again next week for more gameplay streams. We'll do State of the Game, which will come out, which will be after the release of Warlords of New York. Yeah, gonna be fun next week. Make sure
Yes.
you are stocked up and you've gone to the supermarket and got all the food that you need because you might need that. Yeah, that's it. thanks for joining today, Yannick and Shrek. We will
you.
see you again very soon.
Yes.
Everyone.
See you on
Have a
the
good
other side.
one. Bye.